Hello everyone, welcome back to a new episode of Prismata. Let's jump in the queue and go watch maybe Yatsuba versus Megasup, Suso versus Coscott, Kalento versus Nameless Surf. Oh, let's watch Yatsuba. A strong player to be sure. He was like, I don't know, number 5 earlier today, maybe number 3, playing against Jamboree, like two very highly rated players. Anyway, what's going on here? Both players have gone for a lot of drones. Seems reasonable with Centurion, Xeno, and Hannibal and Infusion in the set. Wow. Yeah. Like the biggest absorber and a ton of soak in every color. And also like good attackers in like every color, sort of. I mean, I think Fang is... Gosh, these units are all great. The only trick is like the Arms Race Antimacomet thing. I think you're supposed to delay getting the Comet so that your opponent can't get Arms Race, and then if they do, like your Comet is just like way better. And it's worth not getting the Comet in order for that to happen. Like, doesn't this remind you guys of that game I had like forever ago? I called the video the most NGs I've ever seen. Because opponent had at one stage in the game like 41 engineers or something. He went for the biggest Antimacomet possible, all 22 engineers. And then I bought 4 arms races for him, and then he got Teslas. Like, it was very exciting. I don't know, like, and like not only are those 2 units here, but there's like a ton of soak and absorb, right? Meaning that I think you would still be... Just like in that game, you would be wrong to go for the early Comet. Or even like a 22 Engineer Comet, I think would be too early. Simply because it unlocks Arms Race for your opponent, which is... I don't know. Is it that good, though? Maybe it's fine if opponent has Arms Races available, because... like, Shadow Fang is just a better attacker. And they're going to have the economy to buy it. I'm pretty sure Yatsuba is going to shrug off this Comet quite easily. Just grab like a defense or an infusion grid or something here. And then like, maybe you can actually even get... Oh, 2 Hannibals. Okay, sure, that's even better. Although your opponent can choose a 14 damage Comet against this if they want. Is that good for them? Not sure. Yeah, maybe just 1 Hannibal and like a grid. Hey, it's my friend WM. I used to work with him and I haven't seen him in forever. He has a YouTube channel also where he does Advent of Code. So if you guys, I mean, it's only on like once a year, but if you guys are interested in seeing that, head over to Will Morgan, I think is his channel. I don't know. Look it up. What's going on in this set? I think that Tia and Urban and Ferritin are kind of like the dominators here. I don't see a reason to get Deadeye when like there's no big absorber and the soak is mediocre, if you can even call this soak. So I think you want to be constantly able to threaten Tia, and you probably want to be dumping 1 red per turn into Ferritin Sacks so that you're able to defend the enemy Tia. And that'll also help you get an Urban Sentry. And then like maybe Redeemers, but honestly, like, I don't know. I hear from good players that Redeemer is a bad unit, so I'm not that excited about it. What if I open CA next turn? Is that crazy? It seems alright, to be honest. Like CA into 1TDD, I think? Since I don't really want to Blast Forge, I just want to cycle Ferritins, and I want to get going on that green very soon. I kind of like that idea. I mean, DBC is the classic opening for Urbans, but I don't think we really want Urbans right away, so much as we want like to accumulate green and own red to threaten Tia. So T1 is 5. DD is 6 more. I can afford that. This seems fine. And if opponent shows, like, I don't know, I need to be able to defend the Tia, which may mean, like, well, I don't know. First of all, like, what if I did this? I could just Tia now? He just committed to an Animus. Is he ready for this? He won't have blue on the turn that I get a Tia? Ooh. Kind of spooky, isn't it? Like, if I didn't do this, would I be ready for his Tia, is my question, right? Like, if I do this, right? And he just, like, kind of quietly buys 2 Tarsiers, I won't have access to blue very soon. Yeah, I think that this green is just worth more. I want to be in... I want to force him to, like, be prepared for the Tia. And then if he doesn't get it, whatever. I can just spend my green on Urban or something. I don't know. It's kind of like a stupid degenerate Tia rush that doesn't even have enough Tarsiers, in a way. Maybe if I'm doing this, I shouldn't have gotten the Ferret and Sack. I should have gotten a second Tarsier and cut the drone as well. Okay, good. Good. We're making him prepare for the Tia. Great. So I'm just not going to buy it. He's not getting attackers right now, right? That's what I want to see. Well, obviously, like, if I were getting the Tia, I wouldn't want to see this. But I left myself the option of doing other things. Right? Like, next turn, I can just grab a pretty quiet Urban, probably. Or if he tries to Tia me, then he doesn't have any attackers supporting it. And I can defend with walls and my many force fields. Yeah, I guess that force field was just a misclick for Rhino. I don't think he was really considering buying a force field here. And now I have my Urban down, I have some attackers, I have blue, and meanwhile, what does opponent have? A bunch of NGs. I don't know. I have too much green. There is that. So I kind of hope he Tias me soon, because it'll mean the Ferrets he got were bad and the green I got was good. I kind of like don't have enough drones to support what I'm doing, but I do have a lot of attackers. Maybe now's the time to Tia? Maybe I should have done it last turn instead of this Rhino? I would have had to cut the Ferret and Sack as well, which I don't love. Because, like, I think I might have enough attack behind to support it now. I mean, opponent has a lot of Ferret and Sacks and a pretty big supply of green, which means that it needs to be a very convincing Tia, I feel like. But since he's not really getting attack, there's no rush. I just need to make sure I can survive if he buys a Tia. And so far that seems okay. Yeah, okay. I mean, he's going very slow, just buying Ferret and Sacks to make sure he can survive my Tia. I'm not going to reward that by buying a Tia, right? And all my excess green looks pretty stupid. But it's doing something. It did something earlier, the conduit. Now it kind of sucks. I don't know. It had a lasting effect, which is that like I have 5 attack and he has 2, right? So I don't know. It didn't come directly from having the green. It didn't come from spending the green. It came from having the green. So I don't know. I'm gonna convince myself that it's okay. He must feel pretty desperate right now, like he has to buy the Tia now and win. Yeah. Okay, well, that's what all this green was for. And these urbans. I mean, even after buying the Tia, I'm not that far up on drones. That is to say, even after he bought the Tia. I'm not that far up on drones. What if I just, like, counter Tia'd? It's usually pretty bad, but I'd be attacking for 12. He can buy 2 walls, and all he has to defend with are 2 NGs and 2 walls. Two NGs and 2 walls is 8. I'd be attacking for a little less because I'd lose a sentry, but I don't really think this is necessary. Let's just defend, and then at the end I'll have a bunch more attack than he does. Right? I don't know. Yeah, it's too late now, but I feel like a Tia plus a force field might have been okay. Saves an urban and stuff. But like I have these Rhino, I have a ton of defensive resources that he doesn't really have. Because he's so short on drones. And all I have to do is live through it. Right, like he just clicked Ferretin to buy Rhino. How good can that really feel, right? If I just bought a Tia now, again, I don't think this is necessary. Why mess around, right? No, I don't need Rhinos, I just need NGs. I don't actually have as much more attack as I thought I would. I guess this Tarsier just came in. Whoa! Okay. That's a play. I'm kind of glad he can't do this. Because he really needs this absorber. And inflation is very, very high right now for him. And I mean for both of us, which is why like Redeemer is good when inflation is so high you don't care about the Gauss charges because they come 3 turns too late. Or when inflation is so low you don't care because like you just like can easily defend. Okay, I don't think he can do this. I don't think this lives for him. Like, he doesn't die this turn, but when the Gauss charges come in, it's gonna be a pretty sad day down in WM Town. Ooh, he doesn't even get to absorb this turn. That's magnificent. I mean, this feels a little silly. It's because it is silly, right? I think so. I mean, he can defend 4 attack per turn. Well, hang on. Like, I'm gonna have an NG left at least. There's no way he swings with everything. And so, like, I'm just gonna squeeze out this extra attacker. Yeah. I don't need to buy NGs now. This is my turn to do something else. He loses 1 attack here. Oh, this is how you kill him, right? It sure looks that way to me. I maybe should have gotten this last turn, actually. That would have been way cooler. But okay, given that I didn't, let's just get it now. Yeah, he won't even be allowed to swing with the Redeemer, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, this still breaches for the Redeemer. On the other hand, my Tia is extremely vulnerable. I didn't really think through just how dangerous this was, but it does seem to have been good enough. Okay. Whew. What a silly game. Like, this second conduit was the star of the show in a way, and I don't know whether it was actually good. But I feel like this is like I think I explained the reason that I got it, which is that let's back up to the turn when I actually bought it, right? At this point, my opponent is threatening 2 turns from now a Tia, right? And say I went with my other plan for the turn, here. Am I set up to defend that Tia? Well, if I went kind of overboard and just bought nothing but Ferret and Sacks starting like next turn, I'm pretty sure I'd be okay, right? If he bought a Tia, I'd have access to a lot of blue and a couple force fields. I'd be fine. I'd weather the storm. Like, there's another game on my channel where something like that happened, right? Except I had access to Infusion Grid even in that game. Like, I got an Animus, and then I just bought, like, 2 Ferretins per turn. My opponent Tia'd me, and, like, I got Infusions and Walls and stuff. And then they just ran out of stuff and died. And so I think that even without Infusion Grid, you could do something similar to that here. If opponent promises to buy the Tia, right? That's the trick. If I try that, for some reason I just imagined Shift Right would like continue the game as if the stuff I was thinking about has occurred, please. Resume replay from this alternate universe where opponent guarantees to buy Tia. But of course that doesn't happen. Okay, let's say I do this. Oh no, forgot how to, there we go. No, whatever. We'll just go to analysis mode and autoplay will stop going. So, say I do this. Opponent doesn't have to get the Tia, right? He has the lead in green. He threatens 3... He gets to 3 green before I do, which means he has the choice next turn to buy Tia or not. So let's say I say, oh no, Tia's coming, better get these guys going, right? You know, buy a Blast Forge to, like, defend even more, right? That would clearly defend against the Tia, no problem. Maybe you can even get away with something like this poke opponent into actually getting it and punish him if he doesn't. I don't know. But, you know, he gets the Tia now, let's say. Fine. You know, I'm okay. I think. I mean, I should be able to defend this quickly enough to be sure of that, right? He gets Rhino and like a drone. And I just have so much blue that I'm like, LOL, what are you even doing? He gets another Rhino and a Tarsier. And like, it's a little awkward. I have to hold 3 drones. Actually, I'm getting crushed here. I'm super, super dead. Alright, well that's good to know. Right? Like, I'm pretty sure that is the situation. I have fewer drones, I'm down 2 or 3, maybe 4 attack, depending on how you count it. And all I have is like, oh, I have access to walls. Amazing. But I mean, opponent just like kind of does this. He's even got cycling rhinos, which is amazing. And I can't even defend now that he's done with Tia, right? So this actually would have lost. That's good to know. Wow, I'm a little surprised. I thought that I was being defensive enough in that straw man line. But I guess this goes to show like how hard it is to defend without like preemptive blue, so to speak. Like this wall came a tiny bit too late in my analysis line. If it could have been a turn earlier, it would have been an urban sentry, which would have been like great, right? Then walls would be a lot more worthwhile. But okay, the fact that like I still can't even defend a Tia shows that it's pretty important for me to threaten my own Tia with this extra green. I was gonna say, oh well, you know, I can defend if he builds Tia, but what if he doesn't? You know, but actually I just can't do either. So I guess I really needed to threaten my own Tia here. And I think the common thing in Tia games is the threat of buying it and the threat of doing something more reasonable, a little more restrained. You want to goad your opponent, put them in a spot where they have to react very defensively to avoid losing to Tia, and then you just don't buy the Tia if they react that defensively. You know, that's what happened here. Opponent got, you know, canceled all of his plans about building attackers, said, oh my gosh, Alan's gonna Tia me, and bought the stuff he's gonna need to defend that. It's not totally clear to me that he actually has enough stuff with the Ferretins arriving late, but probably he does, right? Like, you can build a Rhino and a force field, and I'm gonna be attacking for 9, so you have 5, 7, 8, Rhino double force field or something like that. And then after that, you start being able to buy walls. Maybe this actually still isn't enough. I don't know. Let's try it. Let's just get the Tia now, right? Oh, I can't. I don't have enough money for a Rhino. Okay. So opponent gets Rhino F. And doesn't need the second force field because I didn't get that Rhino. Sure. He gets another one of these and more NGs, right? This is how he's defending. So my Tia gets no defensive value, which kind of stinks, but at least it means that she doesn't mind if I get attacked a little bit. I throw down an urban sentry and say, I dare you to attack with your Rhino. Kill an engineer if you want. You know, and he like gets walls, and you know, he's defended, right? It seems like. Actually, he doesn't need a second Ferritin. He just needs more NGs, because by the time that Ferritin comes in, the Tia will be over. Well, obviously don't attack with that, you dummy. And yeah, he just holds off the Tia very comfortably and goes back to getting attackers. This Ferritin was actually maybe even too many. I didn't realize it was Tia was going to be fended off that soon. But this is his opportunity to grab an Urban, I think. It's maybe not great. Oh, he has a lot of green. Why would he do this? Let's just force field Tarsier Engi. And I don't know. He lived through the Tia, but he's not exactly in a comfortable spot. Maybe he's still losing. I don't know. I think the Urban was just enough tempo that he's going to be fine. Oof. I get no absorb this turn if I build a Tarsier. I guess I shouldn't do that then, huh? Yeah, so this is sort of what I envisioned if I actually bought the Tia after opponent reacted so defensively. Is he just like doesn't even care. He just defends the Tia. He had enough stuff to do that. You know, exact details of how the defense is going to go are not totally clear, but you know, he's ahead in attack and up 6 drones and has blue. So it seems pretty clear that I'm losing this line, right? One way or another. Which is what I mean when I say, like, you try to get opponent in a spot where if they react defensively enough to survive Tia, you kill them by going slow. If they don't react defensively enough to survive Tia, you kill them with Tia. And that was what I was hoping to do when I got this conduit. I think opponent actually bought exactly the right number of engineers to deal with my maximum threat, which was Rhino, Tia, Tarsier, because I couldn't get the Rhino, right? So that was pretty cool. Well done. I didn't really count it out, but I'm glad he did. And then I said, oh, look at this. My opponent has built no attackers because he needs to be ready for Tia. Therefore, let's not reward him by actually buying the Tia. And I'm accumulating all this, like, garbage green. But in the meantime, like, I'm attacking and opponent's not, right? I've accumulated a bunch of attack. And kept building, like, the... Okay, so it's maybe easy at this point to, like, settle back and say, alright, I'm so far ahead, I can't lose. But, you know, opponent still threatens Tia. And I'm on 11 drones. And, like, my only blue is Ferritin Sacks. I felt like I'd be okay here because I have so many force fields available. Right? Like, right here is 22 health. Tia only attacks for 21. So, like, I win, right? Am I going to have 11 green to force field all of my drones? I think actually I am. If I have to, I can do that. Because of this double conduit that I've had for so long. I'd prefer not to, but I have it. And if that's what it takes, you know, fine. But it was important to keep building Ferritin Sacks, not to go too aggressive, right? I always wanted to be threatening my own Tia if he ever let off the gas. Or if he ever, like, tried to commit too much to aggression. But still have enough defense available that I can defend if he Tias. Hence the Urban Sentries, the Ferritin Sacks, and so on. Each Ferritin Sack is sort of like, here's a turn where I'll be able to build a wall if I have to, and if you don't make me, I'll get an Urban Sentry instead. Which, of course, produces soak once you finally do get the Tia that you need. I think at this point, the opponent does need a Tia to win. I've got so much extra attack. But, you know, the Urban Sentries, the Rhino Train, these things all added up to continuing to, you know, grind out those Ferritins. These things all added up to having enough defense to take out his Tia. The Redeemer was a cool touch, but just clearly not viable. It needs to kill me instantly, and I think it's pretty clear that it won't. Not when I have 9 green, right? I just breach you, and then, like, you don't have anything when the Gauss charges arrive. Although, it must be said, he actually lived through this, which surprised me a little. I kind of thought the Gauss charges arriving would be the death knell, but he actually managed to defend with a Force Field and a Rhino, surprisingly enough. Even though he had to click like 2 Ferritons to get that Rhino, as I recall. No, that was a while ago. Anyway, I got my own Tia here, which sort of seals the deal, but being on 1 drone is kind of serious business. I need to be sure I'm breaching for something pretty serious to survive this. But, like, I clearly am, right? Like, if he doesn't attack at all, I'm fine. If he attacks for everything, I'm also, like, very much fine. Right now the Urban just, like, lives forever and he can't do anything. I guess he clearly, like, should have bought something on his turn if I were analyzing honestly, but it doesn't matter, of course, right? You know, what would you get? Tarsier? Sure. One day you might have 3 attack. But of course not really, because I'll have killed another Gauss Cannon by then. I'll even buy an NG so I can get back to droning. I don't know, it doesn't matter. So, I don't know. It feels pretty stupid to buy a second conduit on turn 4 and at the end of the game have, you know, 9, 8 green, depending on how you count things, what you count as the end of the game. But I think it was still necessary to do something like that because I was in so much trouble if he got his own Tia. I just didn't have quite enough econ to defend against it. Like, if player 1 wants to defend a Tia, you kind of have to go, like, turn 3 Conduit into turn 4 Blast Forge, I think. Or else, like, be very conservative and buy many Ferriton sacks. But as we saw from opponent, that doesn't really work out very well for you. You need some threat of attackers in order to seal the deal. Okay, cool. Well, interesting game. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.